Has Design and Research is an architecture studio established in Bangkok and Shanghai by Jenchieh and Kulthida Songkittipakdee. Through a wide range of projects from cultural buildings to experimental ones, the firm explores architectural language through design and research approach, emphasizing on the analogy of nature and man-made nature and looking for another kind of natural architecture through cities derivative. We are today joined by Jenchieh and Kulthida to chat about the future of Asian architecture. So thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, very nice. And we are very glad to know you guys too.
It's our pleasure. So will you first tell us about your background and about the studio?
Okay. So my name is Jenchieh and my partner's name is Kulthida. So for me, I grew up in Taiwan and she grew up in Thailand. Both of us, we live in traditional ways. So when both of us, we are a child, I think we feel very surprised about our neighborhood all making by concrete boxes. So that's a little bit surprise for us. But once when we, as you know, in Thailand and also in like suburb, they have many seaside and hills, mountain. So once when we go out for the fishing with our parents, with so many rock and also some of the nature landscape. Actually, there are similar elements as concrete box. They are all the rocks, and in the cities, all the concrete boxes. But one thing that make us feel very different in the city, full of architecture without the soil. It's very cold, but when we go out to the seaside and the mountain, those elements look similar, but they are full of the life. So this really make us feel how we can turn architecture into a lifestyle space. So I think this is the first inspiration during we are the childhood moments.
I think we should say that because when we were born, it was the time that our cities were like developing a lot, like back to many 40 years ago. So it's part of the construction. Could you imagine like Bangkok or Taipei? And then so we grew in the place that not much landscape area because it's like moving fast for the construction properties. So then since we started to see around our neighborhood cities, and then we found it's just not far from our home, then we can have a very nice nature surrounding in our areas. And together, like we work, both of us, so we stay in abroad after we had the strong studies and also work in our countries for a while. Then we moved to like in Europe. So we learned a lot about how to see the cities in terms of integration between architecture and cities and context from that in Western knowledge, right? And after that, so we came back to Asia, and then we started our own office in Shanghai first. And so we can say we kind of like a combination between Western and Eastern, like from our backgrounds. Together with the Asia-wise, we also learned a lot about from Japanese company that Jenchieh worked with Kengokuma before, and I used to work in Lenzo Piano in France before. So this combination is very strong and build us to be has in this moment.
Yeah, and one thing is because Kulthida, she was studying in France, and I was studying in Prague, Czech Republic. So we have a moment they learn Western architecture and also history of Western architecture. And the time when we open our house design and research, we kind of a bit criticize why the buildings surrounding us all learning from OMA, from Zaha Hadid, or from other Western architects. So we try to learn something from our neighborhood and also some of the inspiration from our lifestyle, especially in Asian cities. So we try to build up, we try to establish something from the Western architecture, I mean the modern material, but the way they construction can be the Eastern style. He can create something more huntable space and something like memorable presence in our architecture.
You may feel we think a lot, like think too much, because I think we can say like first time when we set up head office, our project not much, and what the thing we done, it was started from the magazine. We were like a magazine editor, and then from that become like a curator, and yeah, from time to time then we got more project to be our practice.
Yeah, so in the beginning we are curator and also visiting professors for Chulalongkorn University in Thailand and also Jenchieh University in China. But in later we have no real project. I mean real architecture projects. At the beginning we did some of exhibition design. As a curator doing Thai architecture exhibition. And at the same time, we are kind of like writer and also the additional committee for ASA magazine, Thai Architect Association magazine. So kind of like creating something for criticize and also the exhibition. And also we do some of the pavilion in the early stage. So those things can set up our language. And without the budget, without the client, so mostly are very free. And once when we can do the real project, such as Museum of Modern Aluminium, or Forest Villa, or Casa di Zanota, those projects, we start have our own style. So the client will know, listen us and also trust us. So this is the way how we build up our language according to our Asia lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that's quite a lot for our background story.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so with that rich background and that rich, exposure to different cultures and different kinds of endeavors, how would you describe your design approach?
The design approach.
Yeah. I will say we have no any intention for each of the projects. When we're doing the design, actually we start with a question. What kind of the architecture can fully merge into the surrounding and the context? So actually we spend a lot of the time to see the local people's life. And we also realize some of the local life, local architecture, they are more smart, they are very performative, and they are very good to integrate with the context. So when we're doing the design, actually we have no any intention. We are more kind of like poetic, and also like musicians. So we try to create something, the song or an article, which when people read, when people listen, they can be fully inspired. and they can have different feeling. So we are not like hero architect, try to give you something and you have to feel only one feeling. We are more flexible, more freedom. When people see our architecture, some people feel, wow, that's very strong. But some of people, they feel, wow, that's very soft, very softness. So we have no strong intention. But all our architecture projects, we try to answer one question: can architecture space to give more variety, diversity of the local life?
I think for us, we very fascinated about the local people. Maybe because of we spend half life here and another half life in art press. So then we came back here. So we found, wow, there are many interesting things happen by using by the local method. And also we try to be like a foreigner everywhere, you know, like although we live here, but we see the things as the foreigners see. And then when we go to China, so we do the same. So that's why we started to notice something that maybe people get used to. Or they say, oh, it's same as like this every year, everywhere is the same like this. But for us, we feel, oh, it's very fascinating. And we try to translate what's the intention, why they did this thing, and we try to find the keyword as well. Like some research, we talk about the layering. There are many layering that happen when they use. And we even take this research to teach our students and ask them to find some design keyword for their daily life. And that those keywords, it help for them to create a design approach.
Oh, that's super cool. Will you share with us the concept behind the improvised manufacture and chameleon architecture and about its impact to your approach, maybe?
Wow, that's the way.
Yeah, this is a big question.
Yeah.
But later on, we will send you our research. Actually, we have like several research based on the chain market, 14 market, and market under the expressway. And we did drawings, isometric photos. And I think those research will be very likely to answer the question. At the same time, I think Kulthida can also like extend this question by our projects.
Yeah, I can finally tell you these keywords, we got it along the way. Like it doesn't mean that from day one when we set up hairs that we have these three key sentence, right? So it's also from our previous experience working with other firms and like many years, more than 15 years. And then we found the thing that we did is less interest. So then when we came up to our office, when we started Hair's office, then we, from like what the background I talked to you, so we started to see the things that people maybe doesn't care or people feel is ordinary. And then we try to find a way how to make this ordinary to be extraordinary. And with that, along those way, we found that almost every project that we have done so far, there are these three words together. So some project maybe the improvise very strong, like the Pekasem Artist Studio, because like Pekasem Artist Studio, we work a lot with the builder and manufacturers, and we test many materials, and then we found some material doesn't work, and this material work, but it still can keep our designs. So it's kind of like the improvise in the way that we doing construction, and also the improvise in the way that when we do the design as well. So, but in the same time, the manufacturer and the chameleon also appear in this project, but maybe not strong as the improvise. So that's why we say, Pekasem maybe is a project that can represent the improvised meaning. And we also do a book, we did one book called The Improvised, and talking only about the project called Pekasem Artist Studio, which published by one very famous publishing in Thailand called License Publishing. And for manufacture work, this word we feel very interesting, because if you see the English text manufacture, when we separate, it's kind of like a word that from man and nature, and it's the way that we look for the architecture as well, like how people, how humans related to the nature, or how they create the nature. And for the project that we feel is very representative of this, it's also like a museum of modern aluminum that we talk a lot how to make the project from outside look like a nature in the very dry cities with the very sharp vehicle going very fast on the road, kind of like that. So we try to apply the nature appear on the building, like a firefly lighting. We work with the lighting designers collaborate with us. So manufacture is like we also represent to the way of the manufacture they did, like industrial material such as like aluminum. So how the craftsmen of the aluminum, they create this kind of very fascinated facade happen. So it will also spend, well, I think we can say a lot of effort to try to find this keyword. And finally we say, it should be this, it can be this word that can represent this idea. And we also gonna publish a new book about this project too, publishing by Art4D. It's gonna launch end of April. So in the Architect Expo in Thailand, and we'll talk a lot about how we think about manufacture idea that related to the project. And the last one, Charmeleon architecture. This one we also feel very interesting how we talk about this kind of light-sad animal appear in the architecture, But when we pass many times when we stay in abroad also, or in Thailand also, we saw a lot of signage that happened along the road, or like Chinatown, the big signage. I think Jakarta also has this, like people hanging the signage, and then we started to learn what those signage look like, and it even shaped the scenario of the road. And yeah, we researched something about that, and we say, maybe this thing is something that kind of like an animal that appear for building the scenario on the cities, and then we call it Charmeleon architecture. So there are some there are some projects that we did for this project, like Jenchieh Park, the forest, how was the called?
Yeah, Jenchieh,
yes.
or observatory.
Yeah, observatory platforms. It's in the park, very famous park in Bangkok right now, and it's very simple idea, like how to integrate the platform which is made by concrete to the nature. And then we use this kind of patching, like many panels and layering happen. And it's also, I got the idea from that kind of signage that is patching for the cities. So then it's turned the concrete platform change to be the like integrate with the nature in the park. So if you ask what the concept behind of these three things, we can say it's like, it's on the way. It's also improvised that when we work on the projects, and then we found, these things is very strong with that. And finally, these three keywords for us, it happened almost every project when we analyze our own projects. Just some project maybe this one stronger, this one less stronger, but all in all, every project now we became like we have these three things happen.
That's really cool. I think you just explained how essentially they're the part of research and design, right? The research,
Yeah.
also the implementing those research that you've done and then turn it into a solution.
Yeah, and actually these three keywords, if you look at your daily life, like local people, when you go to the road and you see the thing or some temporary structure along the road, so it's also can represented by these three keywords too. It's very interesting, right?
We'll start seeing more of it then.
Yeah.
Cool. So in what ways do you balance tradition and innovation, especially in cultural architecture within Asian cities?
This question is the question that I always ask the student to think about when they do the design projects. For us, we feel now we are in this century, so we try to find a way how we translate the tradition first, because we feel architect that we are architect as a thinker and also explorer. So how we move the new way of the tradition and thinking how to change this to be in another way. And with that, also we did so recently we did one project that very strong about this. It's called Freeing Frame Yard in Shenzhen. And you know this project very important. It's located in Hakka village. Hakka village, like 100 years old village, very heritage tourist area for the Shenzhen cities in China. And we had a lot of information how to balance the tradition to the innovation, because this project is not the thing that we should do the tradition and put in there, but it's underneath one event called Shenzhen Biennale, and they want to talk about the keyword that called unplug. Unplug means unplug tradition, or means unplug the power to be sustained, kind of like that. So we translate this unplug theme, and we find a way how we create the tradition in another way to let the new generation understand what the, like, how the traditional thinking or how the traditional architecture translate to the new way of the innovative ideas. And it was very success project, and they need to work, like we need to work with the communities there as well to approve the designs. As you can imagine, like Hakka village, they're very conservative, and our design is very like totally new for them and put in the courtyard, the main heart of their village. So if for us, we feel this project is very representative how we change the idea of architecture, of the traditional way to be the new way of architecture. And also we try a lot with the materials to represent their traditional thinking as well.
Do you want to share with us a project of yours and maybe about its design goals and its resulting impact to the people and also to the surroundings?
So the Museum of Aluminium Thailand is the project. As you can see, we only use one element, aluminium profile, to create architecture, interior, and furniture, and even the landscape by one material. And the forest villa, actually this villa, they already have existing structures. So we cannot move the existing columns. So we try to build more columns with the function. So new additional columns actually is the bookshelf or kitchen shelf. But they look like the same colors as the existing colors. So he gives other people different feeling, but those elements look very similar. So I think in this moment we try to bring structure and architecture space into one. So as Kulthida mentioned, the feeling layout, we use the PVC lines. They are kind of 1,000 PVC lines and integrate with the structure color, structure view. So you cannot separate like which one is the structure. We want people to feel the feeling only the one, but when they enter the spaces, they can feel the diversity and different approach, different scenario of the spaces. So, I mean, from outside, maybe you feel each of our projects, they look very strong language, or the material of each projects are very complicated. But at the end, actually, we want to create the feeling of the space, the touch, the seeing, the voice, the sounds. Those are most important stages in our project.
Yeah, I think if we say the result that impact on people and surrounding, every architectures will also do that. It will be called architectures, I think. And for us, every project we have that too, and it depends on how much impact that happen. For example, like Museum of Modern Aluminum, that project I think is so impact. It's very huge impact to not only the city, not only the surrounding, and it even impact to aluminum industrial around the world. When people see the projects, these things, they totally feel, oh, how the aluminum profile can really be in architecture like this way. So nobody think kind like this before. Then it's totally like make not only our client, but like the client of the client or like people who in this manufacture industry, they feel a new way of using the aluminums in the way that they never seen before. And so it changed many things, even attitude of the builder, attitude of the craftsman people who do the aluminum for whole life. And they say, so this project is the new way that they never built aluminum. And so their first time to do this kind of thing. And in before it was tough, before when we discuss about the project, it's quite tough because people never done the thing before. Then they started to say, oh, cannot do, difficult. But from time to time, when we get to know more, convince them more, and after it finished, it's done. Nowadays, the craftsmen of aluminum say, so they can do everything because they already finished this project. It's very tough one. They already passed the most tough one that they done so far. So it's so impact a lot for this aluminum industry and surrounding nearby and people who want to see the projects. And the others, they also impact, but maybe it's impact in the different times, different ways. Like Forest Villa, of course, it's also changed the way of the people who see the house. That the house maybe doesn't need to be like a traditional house anymore. How the house to be a way like how to say a balancing between the fostering of the thermal, how to integrate the nature to the buildings, how you enjoy the life with the nature surrounding nearby. So it's also impact for the owner as well, that nowadays they're very happy to stay in the house like more than go out to the outside. So we can say for us doing this design in terms of architecture, we also try to find a way how the architecture changed the way that people seen before.
Yeah, which is really cool because I think it's only through that it can have a ripple effect. Then, the builders or the people that has experienced this building construction before have that confidence to pass on to a next group, right? Or to the next project. So it's something that will build on.
Yeah.
Lastly, how do you envision the future of architecture, and what innovations do you think will play a significant role in maybe around Asia?
I could like to share my own experience. When we open our Haze Design and Research, we have no idea how our office can grow up like this, and we have no any intention what kind of the project we want to build it, and now we feel wow, when we start this, we are very free. We have no style, and we just doing architecture. Right now, when we do architecture, we have many conditions. We will consider how where people really care about our space and the future. And at the same time, we also consider our design one have the interaction with our research. So I will say, as an architect, the most fun way is when you start your own career, because in that moment you have no any limit. You will truly enjoy your architecture life. But in other hand, when you open your office no longer, you have very strong responsibility for this society. You know what you can do, what you should not do it. So I will say the happy moment of the architect is at the first. But when you have more responsibility, or when you have more manifesto or statement, maybe it's the year that you pass 3 years, 5 years, or even more longer. And in that moment, you will have more strong responsibility for yourself and also for the society and also for the country. So that's very, very different. And right now, Kulthida and me, we also be a curator for Asia architects. For example, this year, end of April, Kulthida, she is a chairman of ASA Architect Expo, and I'm the principal curator for the Asia Architects exhibition. And we also invite Angel Madi to ASA Architect exhibition. So for us, when we see many Asian architects, we also remind ourselves, do we really do good architecture which different with other countries? So we always think about this. We want our architecture can have strong power and make our society, our country be different. So people see Thailand, they can feel, wow, let's have different architecture, different people, different approach, different thinking. I think this is the reason why architect should be like an artist. Because if everyone doing the same things, then we have no need architect. We just need a contractor. So we try to do something, make our architecture be variety and diversity as Western architect. So right now, I think it's the best moment for Eastern architects, because Western architects, they have built their language in the past 10 decades. And I will say for the next 10 decades, Eastern architects, they will approach more about the local, more about material, more about different religions and also different cultures. Because in Asia, we have more cultures, we have more religions, and we have different like typography, multi-seaside, and also yeah. I think that's the very good moment for Eastern architects, especially the Asian architects.
I think for us, when we are in this role, so we are like doing practice, we are in the education system, and we are also in the association for architect groups. So, so we can totally see the future for Asia. This will be very strong, and what Jenchieh say is very important that you even see nowadays our Asia we have more events connecting together. We have many exchange about our architecture ideas, and our platform will very close and closer more and more. So I think we believe in futures. Our architect from Asia, Asian architect, actually nowadays it's already started to be. So we are very powerful, become a very innovative training for Western. Now Western need to learn from us, not we learn from them. Yeah, I think is because of the variety of our cultures and the variety of our architectures that become make us more stronger and leading the trend and innovative idea for architecture in future.
Excited. That should nicely really conclude our topic today about, Asian architecture, right? And thank you so much for sharing about your design approach, about your outlook, and about your manifesto. So we are really glad to have this talk and hope to connect with you again soon.
Yes.
Yes.